Our last video we exposed you to what we believe is the world's easiest casting fly line, and that's the Leland Custom Fly Line. That's the line we call the Pliny after our favorite local beer, and it truly is the world's easiest casting fly line from say 20 feet out to 60 feet. It's a magical fly line. But at the end of our last video, to prove how efficient and controllable the line was, we showed what's called a curved cast, just again to demonstrate the fly line's ability. We got a lot of emails and phone calls and live chats from our customers saying, curved cast, show me how to do a curved cast. We're going to do that in this video right now. We're going to show you how to make a curved cast. But before we do that, let's discuss why you would want to make a curved cast in the first place. Now remember, when you're making a standard fly cast, it's a very simple concept. You're still just telling your fly line where you'd like it to go, the weighted portion of your fly line. That's what's carrying your leader. That's what's connected to your fly, and that's how we deliver a near weightless lure with a subtle presentation. But most people, when they're doing that, are very focused on a linear cast, meaning on their back cast, the line is straight, and on their forward cast, the line is straight. Truth is, that cast works everywhere around the planet, a very linear cast. But once you truly understand the goal of a cast, to tell your fly line what you'd like it to do, it opens up your mind to new possibilities, and that's where the curved cast comes in. So, a few examples of where a curved cast makes great sense. Maybe you're on a stream and you have a rock or a stump. It's an obstacle in the middle of the stream, and you want to get your fly on the back side of that stump because there's a fish there. Well, curving your fly line around that obstacle, great reason for a curved cast. What else? Maybe there are no obstacles in the water. Maybe you are looking straight upstream and there's a trout holding. Well, if you make a linear cast to that trout, chances are your fly line, your leader, your fly, they're all going to land directly on top of that fish and spook it. What if you controlled your fly line, brought it around in a curve, and only presented your fly to that fish? Well, you're not going to spook the fish. You put the fly where you wanted because you're telling the weighted fly line what you'd want it to do. Those are reasons why curved casts make great sense on the water. And let me get you started on how to make a curved cast. The first thing I'll tell you is this: we're still using our Leland Custom Fly Line. The advantage of that is it is a color-coded fly line. The one I'm using is our instructor's version. It's white. The one you'll probably buy from us is olive green because it blends in better when you're fishing. But the secret to our line is it's color-coded, meaning if you keep the colored section at the tip of the rod, you always are casting a fixed amount of fly line. You get very, very intimate with moving that amount of fly line, and very quickly you can start to do tricks with that fixed amount of fly line. So, a curved cast begins with a little bit of redirection of your fly line after the cast. Remember, on every cast, the fly line is just following the tip of the fly rod. Always has, always will. Two things that will help you. I want you to imagine either an S or a Z in your head. Little off angle. I'm going to draw it for you. Here is the S, a little off angle. Looks like a bit of a lightning bolt if you're a Slayer fan, the band. That's what we're doing here, is the Slayer S. And the other side would be more of a Z, a lightning bolt Z, maybe the one that's on Harry Potter's forehead. So if you're a fan of Harry Potter or Slayer, you're in luck. I want my line in the first example to bend to the left. So I'm going to draw that S after I make my forward casting stroke. Looks like this. Here's my forward stroke, and here's my exaggerated S. If we look at the fly line right now, you can already start to see it's bending. Now granted, it's not the most elegant bend, but it proves to you that moving your rod tip after the cast does change your line shape. Well, if we drew an S and the line went to the left, we can draw a Z on the next example. And guess what? The line bends to the right. Same story, not my prettiest bend, but with a little bit of practice drawing S's and Z's, and remember, you're just doing a smooth pull of the fly line, and at the end, drawing an S or a Z, and you'll start to see where your line bends. With a little more practice, you can smooth out the process. You have more elegant bends and more control. To prove a point, as usual, we have a little bit of a casting demonstration for you. Follow me over here. Let me show you what I mean. Now, we're in wine country, so we're going to use a couple wine barrels here. If you peek around the back side of this last wine barrel, there's my target. It's a trout back there. I want you to imagine the trout is facing upstream in the current, and these are two obstacles, be a rock or a tree stump, something's in the way, and my job is to stand on my log over here, present my fly to my target, but it's even going to be trickier than you think. I'm going to bend my fly line around this barrel, around the back barrel, and present my fly to that fish. I have to have total control of my fly line. Let's see if I can do it. Now again, I'm standing on my log here, so I have a position that I can always measure my weighted line, and I get very comfortable with it. You ready? This is going to be an S, by the way. Boop, boop, boop. Hopefully my fly lands on the fish back there, and hopefully my line zigs and zags around the obstacles. Let's see if I can pull this off. Same smooth casting stroke, pulls and stops, but at the end of my casting stroke, let's take a look at what just happened there. I'm going to put my rod down. Follow me all the way to the target, if you will. Let's go down to the fish here. This is my example trout. It's sitting here in the stream, pointed up current, and let me find my fly. Here is my leader, whoop, and here is my fly. My fly would have naturally drifted down towards my little target right here. But that's just the end of the story. Let's go back to the beginning of the story. Follow me, come around this way, if you will. Here are my obstacles. My barrel, here is my fly line around this side of the barrel. Let's keep going. Here's my fly line going around this side of the barrel and all the way back to my fly rod where we made that cast. Now, that's a silly cast. You're not going to pull that one off. You're not going to need that very often when you go fishing, but it is an example of what our fly line can do. And with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to bend your fly line and land your fly anywhere you want, which brings me to the real secret of a curved cast. With a bit of practice and the right product, the right line, and so on, you'll be able to bring private water anywhere you go fishing, even public water. Remember, most people are very linear casters. You'll be able to put your fly anywhere you want in places where others can't. That's private water fishing. Part two, when you do hook that fish in your own private water, chances are that's not just a lucky fish or a caught fish, that's an earned fish. That's a magic moment. That's an experience that really embodies what we do when we go fly fishing. So, if you're interested in taking your cast to the next level, get one of our Leland Fly Lines, that's the custom fly line, the Pliny Fly Line. Practice bending your line at home, on the lawn first, and then when you hit the water, you'll be good to go. Thank you so much for your time. Get out there and go casting.